This new Dodge is fresh off the showroom floor, so naturally we're gonna rip it apart. Today, it gets a new custom sound exhaust and new rear bags.
All right, Matt, hit it.
All right, so here's what I was talking about, right? You ready?
Yeah.
And it's nice.
I mean, it's okay,
Sounds good.
but I think we can do better.
I think you're
All
right.
right, kill it.
All right, shut that down. But dude, it's crazy how these used to be, you know, trucks used to be all utilitarian. Now they're like comfortable and nicitarian.
Yeah, I mean, it's like something your wife would want to drive around town. You
Yeah.
feel good about.
Yeah, she does. She,
Instead of the
she
hand
likes,
crank windows, you know what I mean?
she likes those expensive cars, though, man. I'm working on that. You know. All right.
So the deal is we got our buddy of ours brought in this brand new 2014 Dodge Ram pickup truck. You know, this thing basically came right off the showroom floor and came right to us.
What was he thinking? Right? He's watched the show before. Does he know what he's doing?
What we're gonna do is give him a bit of an upgrade in terms of suspension because he likes to haul his boat around, and I think we can do better than the factory did.
Yeah, I mean, his boat's not huge or anything. You know, it's set up, you know, the truck can handle it nicely, but still, even with a smaller load, it can affect your suspension in the rear and kind of get away from you. So we don't want that. And on top of that, we're going to work on that sound we were just talking about.
Yeah, we'll dial that in a little bit as well.
I think he's going to like it.
He better.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Two old dudes with hernias lifting tires.
Better do is a team effort.
So the way that we're going to increase the load handling capacity or just the ride quality in general on the back of the truck is with this. This is the Tow Pro system from RideTech. So what we want to do is be able to handle those trailers better. See, this kit has everything that we need to do that because this is an automatically adjustable airbag system. We've got the the upgraded shocks, we've got the bags, we've got all the wiring and everything, we've got the air compressor, everything that we need is here. We just got to get it in there.
Well, the magic happens right here. This is the auto leveling sensor, and it's going to tell the whole system whether to inflate or deflate these bags to make sure we have the right height. Kind of explain how it works when we put in it, make a little bit more sense. But before we get to all that, first thing we had to do in terms of this whole installation was get some measurements, so we had a starting point. Now, with the truck on the ground, with the weight of the truck on the suspension, we made two measurements. One from the bottom of the fender well here to the top of the wheel, and we also covered ourselves by taking that measurement from here to the ground so we know where the truck needed to sit in factory configuration. So when we get all this in, we can get that same measurement and have the same ride height.
Yeah, when it comes from the factory, it's set up for like perfect handling conditions, right?
Right.
So we go jacking it up with a heavy load or a higher ride height, it's going to mess all that up, and that's exactly what we're trying to avoid with this. So good call. All right, I got two more here that I missed.
that?
So yeah, let me get these out of here, and then we'll be ready to go in.
Okay.
There we go. I'll just manhandle that thing out of there. How about that? With the shock and the spring out of the way, we can start on our airbag assembly. So we've got these two little studs right here. We're going to go ahead and run those down in. Finger tight. Now when you take a look at this bag, on the bottom side of it, there's a little hole right there. That goes to the rear of the vehicle. And you notice this bag's got a rake to it, okay? So with that going into the back, it kind of keeps all of our geometry in line. We've also got our little 90 right here that we're gonna plug in. That's our air supply line. So let's get that in there good and tight. Tighten that down. Oh, there we go. Now, this upper mounting bracket is machined out right there. So that actually fits right up nice and tight in there, and that slides right on there. And this is the upper plate that goes up on the inside of the hole. So let me get in there and get this in place. Hole to the back. All right, now we can come back here and actually pull this piston down to the axle. And this is where I was mentioning the fact that that threaded hole is on the back side. So this is where it's all gonna meet up right there, and then I can run that up and tighten her down, and we're looking good. Another thing that I noticed was when I mounted this bag up here, I had that 90 kind of facing up. I wasn't sure. I changed my mind, I knocked it down, and I think that's gonna be a little bit easier to get to with the airline.
No matter how often you brush your teeth, eventually plaque will build up, and you'll have to visit a dentist for a deep cleaning to get the plaque removed. Your engine is no different. Deposits from burnt fuel and burnt oil create a gummy, sticky friction we call stiction. Like the plaque covering your teeth, stiction builds up on your injectors, camshaft, turbo, and fuel lines with each mile on the road. Just like going to the dentist, we recommend that twice a year you remove stiction from both the fuel system and the oil side of your diesel. To get a complete cleaning that'll be stiction-free, use Hot Shot's Secret Stiction Eliminator in Diesel Extreme. It's a complete two-sided clean that restores your diesel to its original performance power. This tip is brought to you by Hot Shot Secret, powered by science. This segment of Truck U is brought to you by Seatbelt Solutions, the safest seatbelt money can buy.
Welcome back. We've got the shock and the airbag in place. Now we got to start getting some air to them. And the way we're going to do that is this little compressor right here. It's a nice little unit. It's all contained in one little piece in this box. So the whole idea is you got to keep it close enough to the airbag itself so all the lines will reach, but far enough away from any kind of danger. So the key is to get it up above the bottom of the chassis. This way, if you bottom out anything, you don't damage the compressor. Also, you want to keep it away from dirt and debris, especially this little air filter right here. It needs to go up as high as possible. So what I'm thinking is somewhere up in here looks to be the magic spot. Hey, Matt.
Yo.
You there?
Yeah, man. What's
I
happening?
need you to mark some holes for me.
Dude, look at this. I just happen to be carrying a Sharpie.
You are good in silver of everything, too. All right.
Carry that stuff.
Right here and here, we got to drill 4 little holes, and then we can start mounting this into place.
One.
Down there. Come around the other
Hold
side.
that. Yeah, don't let that thing fall.
So once we get these holes marked, we can take down the compressor, drill the holes, get it mounted into place, and then we have to find a home for that auto leveling sensor.
Here's the level sensor you were talking about a little bit earlier. So think about this. We've got this bracket that we're going to mount on the axle. This will actually mount up there on the frame, and we've got this little connecting rod that goes in between the two, right? So this will go from there to here. So think about this, and here's what's happening. So this is up there higher. As you're putting a load in the bed of the truck, you know, the sensor's doing this number, and it's saying, hey, add some air to the bags, right? And then as you take that load off, it's saying, oh, we're good. You can just let that air leak out. And that's pretty much how it works.
Now, I know you're thinking, well, what if you go over some railroad tracks or you bottom out on a bumpy road? This thing's going to be constantly adjusting as this fluctuates going down the road. Well, the thing is, they thought about that is they built into a 20-second delay into that sensor. So once you load down the truck, it'll actually find its home. It'll find a fixed point at 20 seconds, and then it'll start inflating those bags and bring it back up again. So you don't have to worry about it adjusting all the way down the road.
I wonder if they did that on the very first model.
I bet you they did it.
You know, here's the other issue that we've got is we're swapping out the exhaust too. So we want to make sure that we don't have any clearance issues. If we weren't doing the exhaust, this is ready to go up there and mount to the frame. But we just want to make sure I put some double-sided tape on the back side of this right there, because we're just going to mount it up there a little bit loosely so that we can move it around if we have to. Once the exhaust is in and buttoned up, we can make sure we don't have any clearance issues, and if we don't, we can just zip this baby right in.
There we go. Come on, Sally.
No, it's not that. It's not turning. I'm too much man.
Wiggle it just a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go. You know, I didn't think you were going to get that exhaust pipe out, but you just started to wiggle it just a little bit until it started to move. Good work, man.
Sometimes I like to dance a little bit, you know? It's like the MagnaFlow shuffle is
I
what
like
I
it,
was
buddy.
doing. You know, we were talking about we want a better sound on this truck. And when you think about sound and the exhaust, MagnaFlow comes to mind. So that's what we're going to go with. They got a nice system for this truck, stainless steel flow through. Boom. DIY fitment. You don't have to cut anything. It's nice.
Yeah, no fabrication work, no welding, everything just bolts into place. You know, what's nice about this is, you know, we talked about this is a truck that came right off the showroom floor, and boom, right off the showroom floor to our shop, and they've already got an exhaust system built for it, you know. It just needed that throaty sound. That's one thing that this truck was really missing. Something that's gonna say, you know what, I'm here and I'm a man,
That's right.
right? You wouldn't know
can
anything
dig it.
about that. Slide up. All right, time for the big reveal. Man, that looks good, and it fits that cutout perfectly. Wow, Matt really got aggressive with that plastic wrap, but at least he's venting his frustrations in a positive way. He's getting work done. All right, speaking of getting work done, I want to go ahead and mock up this leveling sensor up into place. We'll stick it right here, and hopefully it's going to clear our new exhaust. Pow! That looks good. It clears the new exhaust, and you know what? As of right now, it doesn't look like we have to modify this rod. We'll know for sure when we get it down on the ground and get the suspension weighted down with the truck. We might have to make a modification, but for now, things are looking good. We're really making some progress on this brand new 2014 Dodge Ram truck. Thing is, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I wanna show you guys a truck. It's got a few more miles on it, and it happens to be a Dodge as well. Welcome back. We're taking a break from the 2014 Dodge truck to take a moment back in time with this 1982 Dodge Ram pickup. This is our LMC truck project of the week. Now, if you look at this thing, you can see that it is a work in progress. I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to get done before this thing can progress. But the guys at Detroit City Customs, they're handling that part of it. So they came to us for a little help underneath the hood. So the guys at LMC Truck are going to give us all the parts and pieces we need to get the job done.
The cool thing is we've been working with LMC Truck for over 10 years now. And you know, we always talk about the fact that they have such a broad variety of products for Chevy and Ford trucks going back to the 1940s. Well, now they have jumped into the Dodge truck game too, which is cool because they've got all the pieces and parts we need to go from 1972 to 2012. So that gives us a lot of variables and a lot of things to play with now, right?
Yeah, no, first order of business is that radiator.
Yeah, the radiator was leaking and that was causing some overheating issues. So we're going to go ahead and swap that out with a new one and take care of that. But then on the back side of that, we've got a couple more things going on as well. Bruno, check this out, dude. I think this is a real old bird's nest.
Nice. Look at that.
I mean, there's no eggs.
It's quality craftsmanship
so
there.
this is fine, right? All right, don't write me any letters. I got to get this radiator out of here now, but before we do that, let's take a look, see? I'll get into the LMC truck catalog, and there's a table on the page where the radiators are. So you take your measurements there and you get your core size and your pipe diameter, and then you're good to go. That way you know you're getting the right thing, right?
You know, so the old one out of the way, we've already got the new one. We made our measurements, and this is what we came up with. Now, the nice thing about this one is it's got an transcooler built into it, just like the factory did. So this way we're covered there. You know, you got an automatic transmission. You want to have one of these tied into your radiator so you don't have any overheating problems. So we'll drop this one in, bolt it in place, and then we can start working on our other issues we got with this truck. With the radiator in, it's time to move on to the power steering pump. Now, we came in with the diagnosis of a squealing sound, so that means it could only be one of two things. Either the pulley and belt assembly is bad, but we checked that out and all checked out pretty well. The other thing it could be is air inside the pump. So we tried to bleed the air out of the system and weren't able to do it. So at this point, something that's 30 years old, it's time to swap it out with a new one. We've got that from LMC Truck. It's a reman one that is going to be a good deal for us because it comes with a warranty. It's going to last as long as a brand new one and at a fraction of the price.
You mentioned the fact that that's been in there quite a while, right? I mean, you know, you take a look at the steering over the last couple of years, especially since this vehicle was brand new. I mean, things have evolved quite a bit. You know, if you look down in some of the more modern ones, you see the rack and pinion style, and that cut down on a lot of the moving parts. And then some of the newer ones too with the electric motor steering on that. That's kind of nice because as it senses you turn in one direction or the other, the electric motor actually does the work for you. We put one of those in that side-by-side about a year or so ago. And another nice thing about that was if that ever failed for some reason or another, you could still use it mechanically. It still turns. So it wasn't like blowing a hydraulic line and your tires are stuck where they're at. You know, It was still safe. So things have changed a lot over the years. But like you said, old school for old school, let's keep it simple, right?
Right. Keep this thing simple, and you know what? This is going to last at least another 30, I'd say.
Perfect. So we had a relatively short list of things to do underneath the hood of this truck, and those are done. Now we can send this back to the boys because they've got bigger and more impressive things to do than what we did.
You know, the body work on this thing is going to be a tough challenge. You know, they've already started marking stuff that needs to be done. And I'll tell you something, you talk about boys. Well, this is the difference between men and boys right here because this is a serious job. It takes an expert to make that look good, and that's why we're sending it back to them.
Yeah, these boys are going to send this truck back to those men and let them have all of that, man. I want nothing to do with it.
But you know, once all that work gets done, you know, all the little details, the stuff that looks authentic and keep it real, like these emblems, these side mirrors, you know, all the molding, that kind of stuff they can get from LMC Truck and keep the truck looking original.
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, that's a good point. We don't know what all they're going to replace, but we do know where they can get it.
This tip is brought to you by LMC Truck. Restore, maintain, and customize your truck with parts and accessories from LMC Truck.
You know, Bruno, every time we work with the Easy Puller from Las Vegas Tool, I think to myself, this is what you get the guy that's got everything, you know, because he's got every other tool known to mankind, but he probably doesn't have this in his garage, and he needs it.
Yeah, he should, because you know what? It has so many different purposes. Whether you've got a stuck bolt or a broken cotter pin, or you want to remove a dent in bodywork, all you have to do is clamp on right here, use a 2-pound slide hammer, boom, and remove it. It has got so many different uses, and the thing is, the more you have it, or the more you use it, you realize how many different applications there are for it.
Now, you may look at this thing and you think it's unique, it's a little odd looking, but think about this, like a lot of other odd looking things in the world, you know, it's a lot of fun to use. This is the Lanare MX200 waste oil heater, and it does a couple different things. First of all, it helps you save a lot of money when it gets cold in your building with your heating costs, and it does that simultaneously while letting you get rid of your waste oil, because now you don't have to take it anywhere.
Yeah, you know, if you want to conform to EPA standards in terms of removing that waste oil and disposing of it properly, you have to pay to get that oil taken away. So with one of these things, you no longer have to deal with that expense, and you're properly disposing of that oil. The end result is free heat for your business, which is going to save you a ton of money over the course of time.
These are E3 spark plugs, and you might have seen them on the shelf at your auto parts store. You might have heard people talking about them, and you say to yourself, well, what's the whole E3 thing all about, right? Well, there's a lot going on in these little plugs.
Well, the magic happens right here in the ground strap. It's got a unique situation. You know, a normal plug has just got one sticking up. You can see there's 3 different points here. The whole idea is going to lead to more turbulence in the air-fuel mixture, which is going to mean a more complete burn, which is going to give you more power, more fuel efficiency, and lower emissions.
And you mentioned that 3 ground strap design. That's their Diamond Fire design, and that's unique to it. So you got 3 versus 1, so this plug is going to last a lot longer too. This is the System 1 amplified speaker from Custom Auto Sound. It's a full-range speaker system for your vehicle to get all that modern sound into a classic vehicle without spoiling the integrity of it. And what I mean by that is you're not working on like a 1950s vehicle and cutting that dash apart to put a speaker in it, you know?
You know, what comes with a kit is you've got an 8-inch subwoofer enclosure, which is designed to go underneath the seat so it's mounted discreetly away, or you can put it in your trunk. It comes with remote control so you can adjust your bass levels. Also comes with 2 3-inch satellite speakers, which look like AC vents, which is really cool. Now you also get the amplifier installation kit and everything you need to hook it up to that Custom Auto Sound radio, so you've got that classic look and all the modern sound you would expect out of a system of today.
Let's go inside the Duplicolor garage. Duplicolor, yes you can, in your garage.
This Honda Pilot has something in common with just about every other vehicle on the road, and that is a nice big scratch right there on the door molding. Now, it's in the door molding, which is convenient for, you know, shopping carts or drive-through incidents, other vehicles' doors. That's a good spot for that, and this happens all the time. Well, here's the good news. I've got a way that we can fix this by ourselves, do it in a short amount of time, and do it for a fraction of the cost. Duplicolor has several different options for us when we get into a situation like this. Now, if the scratch was long and thin like that, or if it was a chip and it was about the size of a quarter or a nickel or something like that, they've got the scratch fix all in one. It's perfect for those occasions, and it'll get the job done every time. This one, though, it's more like a scrape. It's a little bit longer and it covers a little bit more area, so we're going to use the Duplicolor Perfect Match. So to make sure that we do this right, we need to get our vehicle's paint code. That's on the inside of the door jamb on the driver's side. So we check the code, we've got the right paint, now we're ready to take care of this scratch. The first thing I had to do was tape and mask everything off. Once we got that done, I was able to take a piece of 600 grit sandpaper to this piece of molding, and we did the whole piece. Once we got that done, we hit it with the Duplicolor Prep Spray and got it good and clean. Now we're ready to lay on the filler primer. Now, depending on how bad the damage is, will determine how much filler primer we need to use, because if it's a deep gouge, we're gonna have to fill it in. Fortunately, in this case, it was kind of shallow, it wasn't that deep, so we could do one step, put the primer on, and now we're ready to apply the Perfect Match paint. Couple coats of clear, and this problem is solved, and we are back to the factory finish, and we can do it for a fraction of what it would cost if we took it to the body shop. That is what it's all about. For more information about all of the touch-up products that Duplicolor has, whether it's the Scratch Fix All-in-One or the Perfect Match system, be sure to check out their website.
You're becoming quite the painter.
You know what I'm trying to do is spread my wings a little bit, right? Make myself more marketable.
Well, you know, the thing is, you know, I heard that TV thing might not be working out for you, so you need another avenue to go down.
Well, the deal is I only have one show, you know, not like Mr. 4 shows or whatever over there.
Sorry
but
to hear that.
Regardless, we got the wiring done, right, for our airbags, and we brought up the little control up here, because we talked about the fact that using that sensor, you don't have to do anything if you use this setting. You can set that and just leave it alone, and it'll do everything that we were talking about earlier. But if you want to manually override that, you can do so over here too.
It's really cool because what it allows you to do is manually drop the back of the truck up to 6 inches, which if you're on an incline and you need to get a motorcycle in back or a UTV or just load anything in back, that 6 inches can make a huge difference.
Dude, let's not kid ourselves. 6 inches is a lot.
Dude, it's a lot. You can get a lot done with that much room.
All right, now back to the MagnaFlow Performance exhaust system that we put in this thing. Sounds good.
And it comes with a lifetime warranty, so that is cool.
That is cool. Can we listen to it now?
All right, fire it up.
You good?
Oh, that sounds good, man. Give it some gas.
Oh, it's gonna sound better.
Hear that baby roar.
Dude, look at that, man.
Nice.
Not
Nice.
bad.
Yeah. All right, we're at about 33 inches. I told you that 6-inch drop made a big difference.
Big difference, dude.
All right, Matt hit the switch about 10 seconds ago, so at any moment this thing will start inflating. Remember, it's got that 20-second delay built in.
3,
Let's see if we did this right.
2, 1, bam. Look at
Wait
that.
for it. All right, there it goes.
Okay, my timing was a little off. It's
As
all right.
always.
It's close, right?
Let's see if we did this right.
Now, if everything is hooked up right, it should be right about 39.5 inches, right? That should be it.
Here we go.
Dialed in.
Here we go.
Looking good.
Come on,
Looking
baby.
good. This is like the thing on Price is Right, the little guy climbing the mountain. Yodel, yodel.
Come to daddy. Come to daddy.
Boom.
Bam. Perfect. Nice.
Look at that.
All right, I say we leave this thing in auto mode and give it back to him.
Absolutely, dude. I think that's fine, dude. But let's talk about this, man. The Tow Pro and the MagnaFlow. And now what do we know about this truck?
It is time for the truck and the B-Man to go because I got about 4 more shows I got to do today, bro. Don't mean to leave you hanging, but it's been fun.
Thanks, dude. It's all good. Now what? Now what? I guess that's it for this week. We'll see y'all next time right here on Truck U. I need a better agent.